some dads are raising their kids without a blueprint. And I think that goes a lot like this. We pretend to know what we're doing. They don't look out for the opportunities to be better. And they just think this is how it's going to be. Well, we're here to kind of help you through that because we did the same thing. We didn't have blueprints, but we try to grow ourselves for the sake of our kids and turn our ceiling to our kids' floor. So that's kind of what we're going to be discussing today on the Dad Compass podcast. Father without a blueprint. Mr. Bueno.
I'm your host, Patrick.
And I'm your host, Dimitri.
Nice.
Welcome back.
Do you think that you faked it until you made it type of situation when you first became a dad?
I think I made a lot of assumptions of the kind of dad I would be. And when I finally became a dad, some of those assumptions were right to an extent, but a lot of them were only right momentarily. As you progress through fatherhood, that's when the challenge begins. I think when they're babies, it's pretty easy.
But you also stepped into a toddler, right?
5 years old.
Yeah.
Is that a toddler? It's not a
I
toddler,
think
dude.
so.
That's not a fucking toddler.
Look it up.
All right. Oh, well, that's not a toddler.
I think it's a
There's
toddler.
no way, dude. Is it? I'm not going to fucking distract right now.
Oh, okay.
Because I will fucking go down this pipeline.
So you potentially stepped into a toddler, maybe not a toddler role. So that's different.
It is. And I think I had the thought process of I understand this a lot better. And when I stepped into it, there was things that I didn't have as a kid at that age that I wanted him to have. But as he got older, it became, I guess the truth of the child comes out and you kind of see them more so for who they're becoming and just not who they are at the moment. So it was pretty difficult trying to trying to put myself up to the standard that I thought I should be and not really ever reaching it. Because when I was young and dumb, it's kind of like, no, I'll get this figured out. Not the end of the day. Not the end of the world. Now, with my other kids, I'm like, well, I didn't have it figured out and I really need to work at it. I think some people who have fathers are able to go out and ask them questions like, hey, Dad, what did you do in this situation? How did you handle this? And I think you and I both kind of, since we didn't have that, it was more so asking ourselves. And if we didn't have the answers, I didn't search out for them. I didn't go on the internet and try to find them. I think a lot of people now are actually doing that.
So 2 things. 1, a toddler is 1 to 3. So you are correct. My apologies.
Fucking wrong. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ian, for calling you a toddler. Second thing is, and I don't actually know the answer to this. So did you have father figures in your life, even if they weren't yours, that you kind of maybe tried to replicate a little bit when you became a father?
Yeah. And
like uncles or whatever the case was.
I did. And it was my friend's dad. They're like my brothers. His name is Jim. And I've replicated some things. He was very quick to tell you're an asshole because you're wrong. But he was also, he just pushed you. And I thought that was the most valued thing you can do. And I think that's some of the mistakes I made because it's not always about pushing your kids. It's about guiding them towards the right place instead of just shoving them saying, no, fuck you, go do it.
Yeah, for me, I don't think I thought about it. I had uncles, grew up in a pretty big family, and I had uncles. I also had friends' dads, and I'd be lying if I didn't take some of that stuff because I'm sure I did. But I also sometimes have, especially when I was younger, had like a really big ego and didn't listen to advice very well. And so I think I was like, I'll figure this out. I don't fucking need
Yeah.
anybody. And I did shit wrong.
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have had a resource like, I mean, even like us, but I was one of the first of my friends to have a kid. Cause that's the other thing is that you could kind of, within your friend group, if you're having kids around the same time, you could kind of talk
Work off
through
each
those
other.
things. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And Logan's not like the oldest one, but it's pretty, he's pretty close. It's also different because he was a boy and the one of my good friend's daughter, he had a daughter. So I think it was just a little different too.
I think that's the hardest part about being a dad is raising a daughter because I don't know what your biggest fear for your daughter is in a sense of like a relationship that you have with her. For me, it's having them not reach out to me when they're older. It's kind of them becoming adults and be like, no, dad, you're an asshole. I don't want anything to do with you. My sons, it's a lot easier because I'm able to push them. So I think daughters are definitely a lot more difficult, especially for, you know, not having a dad to bounce off of like, "Hey dad, well, how would you handle this?"
It's kind of funny. I don't agree with you. I
Alright.
Dea and I aren't super close, but like I didn't start dating Deanne until Dea was like she was a senior in high school. So there wasn't a lot of interaction. I mean, there was a lot of interaction, but we didn't live together, so
Yeah.
she didn't have to listen to me or anything like that. Raina and I are pretty close, and then Ev and I are extremely close. I think I run into issues sometimes with like the emotional aspect. To
Yeah.
your point, like if my boys are upset at me and get emotional, I don't care. And
Yeah.
I know that sounds kind of cold and it's not really meant to be, but like
It's a different kind of care.
suck it up.
Yeah.
And when Evelyn gets emotional, it's not that I don't care more, but like it's harder because it's like she's getting emotional over a smaller thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll scold her and Jackson for fighting, and then
Yeah.
she starts crying. And I'm not like beating my kids or I'm not even raising my voice. I'll just be
Yeah.
like, you two need to fucking stop.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this shit all day. And then she starts crying. I'm just like, this isn't something to cry about. Just fucking stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think from that standpoint, I could see it, but Ev and I are Ev and I are pretty close, so I'm
Yeah.
not concerned. Like she hasn't hit her teenage years, and I've heard that those could
How
be
how old is
pretty.
Ev? She's
She's 11, so
okay.
yeah, so she's just a little bit older than Ellie.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I was worried about it with Logan at a younger age. I'm less worried about it with him now because we have
Yeah.
a much better relationship, and um a lot of that took me changing, honestly. I think Logan changed too just because he was maturing, but I was also
Yeah.
maturing as a parent.
Well, I think that's the hard that's the okay. I think raising kids, you have kind of I don't know how to like timelines of their life where things are difficult and things are easy and times that you really wish you had a blueprint or you had a father figure, you had someone to bounce ideas off of, even if it's a community. And I think the teenage years before, they're adults before they're 18 are some of those times. Their early development, like until I think after 5, you could definitely use some guidance because the things that you're doing are going to impact them a lot more than you realize. Uh, and I think that's where the guidance comes into, where it's, hey, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of screwing up your kids, so you're trying to overparent everything, or you were overparented and you want to give them the freedom to do shit. And then here they are, teenagers. They're like, nope, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want because you were my friend and not my parent that I needed. So I think that's like the difficulty of not having a strong foundation into fatherhood that we struggle with, because there's the one side where there's aspects I'm okay with being your friend at, but then there's a very, very fine line where I'm a parent, don't cross that line. And I think kids nowadays, I think my daughter is very, very hard headed because she wants to be independent, or she wants to be independent. I mean, she's my empathetic, absolutely biggest heart. But man, when she puts on those horns, it's like all hell is breaking loose. She's very, very strong willed, and it goes both ways in the good and bad. So I think I would have loved to have some sort of guidance for that in the younger years, as far as expectations and what I could have done better to facilitate that maybe not happening.
Yeah, I'm sure that it could have played a factor, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I don't think you can live your life that way either. Like, you can fix it right now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
She's at a young age, you can fix it. It's the same thing with Logan. Like, me and Logan butted heads for a long time. Like, we just did not agree the way that I handle things. And for what it's worth, I didn't handle things right. But as you get older and, like I said, mature as a parent, you realize that they're just fucking kids, man. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to treat them that way. And it wasn't like necessarily I was physically abusing him or anything like that. It was more of just he could never do anything right, and my delivery was cold,
Yeah.
and um and it's because
I've had my son say that.
what's that?
I said I've had my son say shit just like that. Be like, "Dad, like I feel like I just can't do anything right."
Yeah, like he would do the dishes and then one of the dishes wouldn't be right. And I wouldn't be like, "Hey, thanks for doing the dishes," and then just fix the one that wasn't done right. I would fucking point it out.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't say thanks for doing the dishes because you didn't
You
do it right.
fucked up.
Yeah. And I think that still inside of me, he needs to know that stuff, but there's different ways to deliver it. And it doesn't have to be so cold, to give them the credit that they deserve for doing the job that even if you told them to do the
Yeah,
job,
yeah.
like just being a little bit more compassionate towards stuff like that.
Did you feel weird? Not weird, like torn? So when my kids do something and they don't do it the way I wanted to, and then I'm frustrated, there's it's almost like I'm being torn to like between saying, "Hey, you messed up. You didn't do a very good job, but I really appreciate it." And the other half of that is, dude, you just didn't do what you're supposed to do. Like it's not that fucking difficult.
So I've actually brought this up before, Dimitri. I don't know if you knew this, but we were forced to read Extreme Ownership at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that. Like, I was kind of pissed. And I was like, I don't have time to read a fucking book. And is what we did is we read one chapter a week. And then the next week we would meet together and we would talk about it. As I read that book, it changed my leadership style a little bit as well. But I was different at work than I was at home. But it changed the way that I parent my kids. And here's why.
Why?
If I never showed Logan how to do the dishes and I just expected him to know,
Yep.
that's on me.
Yeah.
So now I go and set expectations. And then when he doesn't do it right, then it's a little bit different conversation. But if I never actually showed him how to do the dishes and I just said, hey, you need to do the dishes tonight,
Yeah.
and then I left, and then he didn't
And
do them the way that I wanted him to do them,
you
it's
guys
on me.
could insert and people could insert dishes to anything. You
Absolutely.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not hyper fixated on fucking dishes right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. For
Like
sure. For sure.
this applies to like everything. If you don't teach your kids or if you don't show them how to do it, that's I guess it goes to the whole lead by example. It's not do as I say. not as I do, it's do as I do. And that's what we kind of need to move more into as fathers, because doing as I say is really, really easy, but it also leaves a lot of, um, what is it, ambiguity as to what they should be doing. Well, be specific. If you're hyper specific, you're going to get hyper specific results. You know, if you're not going to break it down for them, it doesn't matter if it's simple. And then they mess up, and then we scrutinize them. That's on us. Like, yeah, man, one
When
hundred percent.
my kids had specific chores that I always assigned, and I would come home and they wouldn't be done, and I would fucking lose my cool.
Yep.
Like, this is like summertime, like no jobs, like they were just here all day.
Yeah. Eating up all the
But
damn food.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking milk's gone.
But what I learned, and my kids told me this, is Logan's like, I don't like doing the dishes, but I don't mind cleaning the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And Davis is like, I fucking hate cleaning the bathrooms, but I like doing the dishes. So I was like, well, why don't you guys pick what you want to do?
Yeah.
These are the things that need to be done. You pick what you want to do. And results started getting so much better. It was awesome. And that was something that they shared with me. And I've shared it with Deanne too.
Yeah.
The other thing my kids don't like is they don't like finding out last minute. They want to know, like, hey, you have to do the dishes all 5 days this week.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Not a problem. They don't want to know that on Monday when dinner's done and they just finished eating and they're getting ready to go to do something, that they now have to do the dishes.
Yeah.
And I just learned that, like, through having a conversation with my children.
Yeah. My daughter said to me the other day, we got into an argument about, I told her to do this one thing. I said, Ellie, you need to do it. Or no, sorry, it was about her homework paper she had to get signed. Okay. And she's like, it's your fault, Dad. It's your fault that I didn't get it signed. I said, okay, well, here's how it would be my fault. It would be my fault if you brought it to me and you said, hey, Dad, I'm done my homework. I need you to sign this. And I said, cool, I'll sign it. And I never signed it. I said, it's not my responsibility. You bring it home from school. You know that you're supposed to do 15 minutes of XYZ work. And then after that, you're supposed to bring it to me so I can sign your paper. It's not my job to remind you. That's the whole point of being independent, is having the ability to say, hey, I have to do this. I need to get it done. And I told her, I said, but I've reminded you. I said, bring it down. I'll sign it. You forgot. I forgot. And it didn't get signed. And then you went to school and your teacher's like, why isn't this signed? If we have to take responsibility for ourselves, and as kids, that's a pretty big thing for them to learn. Hey, you can't blame the world for things that were in your control. That you have to be able to take it, like extreme ownership, right? You take it on your shoulders, you deal with it, and then you figure it out. So, kind of segueing off of that and off of what you said about kids being able to pick what they want to do for their chores, especially if you have like multiple children, right? If it's just one kid, who the fuck's he going to pick chores from?
Right.
He's like, my imaginary friend Tom's going to do these. Tom was supposed to do these, Dad. I don't know what you want me to tell you. There's this guy, and I listened to a kind of blurb in what he does at home, and he's like, every week we put 10 things on the fridge that have to get done. He's like, there's actionable things, like physical things that you have to get do, and he's like, there's also mental chores. So the mental chores can earn you money, same with the other ones, because he treats them like gigs. So a gig might be clean all the bathrooms, and somebody can pick that, and that's what they got to do. And if they do it, they get a payout from it, almost like helping. It's like helping the household as opposed to being paid to do a job. You're not required to do it, but if you do, there's a benefit to it. And then he says the mental gigs, which are actually really, really interesting. He said they could be something like listen to a podcast. It could be something learning about a specific topic and then being able to tell us about it. And then that earns you things. And he's like, what I've noticed is when you treat things as gigs, you're not treating things as a guarantee to payment, right? If you do all these chores, you're going to get $5. No. If you go around the house and you see stuff that needs to get done, then you could even write it on the board and then we can determine the monetary value that comes with it because you went out and you're trying to make something better within our household. And that's important. For the mental gigs, that's helping their mental health. It's not sitting and scrolling fucking YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is that you're doing. It's doing something that's going to benefit you as a kid and have you grow. So I had my daughter listen to Tony Robbins. You know who Tony Robbins is?
Yes, sir.
I love Tony Robbins.
Banana
He's such
hands.
a huh?
Banana hands.
Banana hands? Is that what they call them?
Have you ever seen Shallow Hal?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I ever listened to Tony Robbins. Like I think there's so many ways that we can better our kids. And the whole point that I'm trying to get to here is I don't have a blueprint and there's a lot of things that I can do a hell of a lot better. And as much as I don't like social media because I think there's a lot of negativity that comes from it, especially in kids, I think as adults, if you can use it properly and you're able to say, I need help with this problem. I know there's somebody out there that's already had this one and they've solved it. If you start looking, you can build your own blueprint as a father as you get older. And then you could pass that down to your kids.
Yeah, I actually just wrote it down on my phone. I like both of those. That's that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, because it doesn't make you have to pay your kids. It's not like, oh, well, Ellie, you have to do this, this, and that. Ian, this, Ronan, this, and that. It's like, no, here's a list. You can add to it throughout the week. You could look around, you say, hey, you know what? All of I picked up my room. Okay, what's the monetary value to that? Okay, it could be like 50 cents. You know what I mean? It could be something really little. But now if you're like, hey, I saw your guys' room messy and Ian's room, and I just helped straighten up all of that. Cool. You just did something to help everybody. That becomes a lot more valuable. So, all right.
Awkward pause.
Awkward fucking pause.
Did you know
The Muffin Man.
1 in 5 fathers of minor children are absent dads in the US? Did you know that?
I did not, but I think I could assume that.
You did know that because we actually talked about it before we started filming. So you're a
But I'm
fucking
trying to
nerd.
fucking say I didn't know that. And I did know it. I fucking knew it.
So it's crazy. Like 20% of children have an absent father.
But what
I would assume
24
not involved at all.
21st century absent? I think it's a lot more than 1 in 5.
So you're saying if I come home and I am on my phone and my kids are here, I'm
Absent.
also absent.
Yep. If your kids are saying, hey, dad, can you read this book to me? Or hey, dad, can I do this? Or can you do this with me? And we say, no, sorry, I'm busy. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. You're fucking absent.
It's probably closer to 50% then if you're using those statistics.
I mean, that's not even statistics. That's just like, in my eyes, that's common sense in our daily lives. Now, there's moments throughout the day I'm catching myself being this person. You know,
Oh yeah.
yesterday I went outside with my neighbors and I told my son, I was like, hey, you got to come outside and play. I was like, I've been inside all week. You know, for me, if our neighbors are out, I'm going to go outside. We're going to have a beer. We're going to enjoy ourselves. I was like, you guys got to come out. And then one of their lady friends came over and she brought her daughter. And I said, hey, have you met my girl? And she's like, oh, Ellie? Yeah. And I went inside, I grabbed Ellie and Ronan and they came outside and they played. Like it could have been so easy for me to say, nope, you could just stay inside this house and you could be by yourself. But it wasn't that easy for me. I felt shitty. And now I'm being told as like, I want to go outside and have fun and interact with other adults. But at the same time, I want to sit here and interact with my kids. Well, you can do both. There's always a you can do both. I think it just takes a little bit of work to get to that point, and people don't do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yesterday was not a good day for me. I drove Jackson for like an hour, so we had a good conversation on the way up there. But
Is
I
that what
was,
made it not so good?
what's that?
I says,
No, no, no. But like, I was just physically and mentally drained yesterday, so I didn't want to do much. We took Raina to prom and hung out with her a little bit before, so it wasn't like a complete shit day, but
yeah, you
10,
wanted to relax.
15, yeah, 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have done any of that
Yeah.
in that state of mind that I was in.
Yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, when we're pissed off, unregulated, and just burnt out from the day, it's pretty hard to push ourselves to be there to show up. But I think what makes us good fathers is to realize that we have to show up and we have to push ourselves. And sometimes that might be why we're so frustrated. I know for me that's true. Sometimes I'm so pissed off because I have to make the right fucking decision and I'm just an asshole. I'll still make the right decision. I'm just an asshole about it. I don't want to be.
Right.
I'll give you an example.
Of you being an
So
ass.
yeah.
You want me to
So
give you an example?
no,
Or
I'll
you're
give
gonna
you an
give me.
example. I'm gonna give you an example.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm the asshole.
It's our first day doing this.
I swear to God, every single time we do this, it's our first fucking day. So yesterday, no, not the day before yesterday, so Friday, um, I went to grab checkers for me, Ellie, and Ronan. Ian was at work. I just assumed he was going to eat something at work. He got home and he was like, "Oh, you guys got checkers?" And I was like, "We got checkers." It's like, "I just assumed you're going to eat something at your job, which is a restaurant, a pizza shop." And he was like, "Oh," and he was all butthurt. And I texted my wife, and then she was like, "That was rude to me." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm the fucking asshole." So I was all irritated. I was like, "Go downstairs, watch your brother and sister." It's like, "Don't you dare order any food." Because he was like, he was getting ready to order checkers and have it delivered. He's like, "You're out of your fucking mind. That's not happening." So I got in the truck and I went to McDonald's and I got him a Big Mac meal. And I parked my truck at the end of the parking lot. And as soon as I opened that damn door, raindrop. I came back into the house and I was soaked. And I was just laughing walking up. I was like, this is what I get. I knew I should have just got him something in the first place, but I was like, no, I'm good. And karma just came right at me.
That's how it works sometimes.
I fixed the problem, but I was an asshole about it. I was frustrated that I had to fix the problem that I should have taken care of initially.
Did you make amends?
No. I said, here you go, dude.
Here's your stupid fucking Big Mac.
Yeah, I walk in and Ronan goes like, Dad, you're wet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking wet because it's raining outside. Of course, the moment I get out, I gave him his food. I'm like, there you go, dude.
Why
And then
did
I
you go to
did the rest of the
McDonald's
dishes.
instead of Checkers?
Because the food that we got from Checkers was terrible in the first place. So like,
Yeah,
and like,
McDonald's quality is pretty good.
dude, and I was also pissed off about that. So I'm like,
Not sponsored, by the way.
I wish,
Good.
dude. Can you imagine if we were sponsored by McDonald's? That'd be terrible. Every single episode, here's a Big Mac. Um, no, the Checkers wasn't even that good. So like, he was butthurt that he didn't get Checkers, and I'm like, dude, it fucking sucked. And then I just felt like I had to go get food. And my wife's like, don't do that. I was like, too late.
I got another question.
All right.
Did he go back to the same pizza shop that he got let go from?
He didn't get let go.
I
They
know it
just
was
cut
like
his hours drastically. Yeah, he's still there.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Did his
But he
hours pick up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, a bit. I've been telling him, I was like, "If you have an opportunity to work, you need to work." I think he's getting to the point of, like, "I don't really wanna work," and I'm like, you're fucked, dude." He wants to be an EMT, I'm like, You're gonna work. You're gonna be working many, many hours, and you're gonna get your paycheck, and you're gonna say, 'Wow, where did it all go?' Uncle Sam."
All right. What's next?
Let's say you're not disqualified. And I think let's speak to other fathers out there who are struggling to find guidance. And as easy as it is to look externally, there is some internal answers that you have, and a lot of them are truths that you might not want to believe. But if you didn't have a father, it doesn't disqualify you from being a good father. You know, in fact, I think in some aspects, it's actually going to qualify you a little bit more because you're not dealing with the disruptive thinking or the bad habits that your father might have had.
Well, and there's a lot of traits that get passed down from parent to parent that aren't good.
Yeah.
And so to your point, I'm trying to think of something. I'm drawing. I mean, beating your kids, right? Like if you were beat
Yeah, yeah,
and then you think that that's the way that you should parent,
yeah,
and so you do the same thing, or just abuse in general.
yeah.
So I think that there's some positive stuff that comes from not having a father, right? Like
I
I'm
would,
I mean, you've shared your story. Your dad was not a good person. So if you would have had to stay in that situation, Lord knows how you would have turned out, and then you would have had kids and could have replicated that behavior.
one of the hardest things actually is so this week I was thinking about that a lot, and it was more so along the lines of I still would have loved to have a conversation with my dad,
For sure.
even through all the things that happen and all the things that he's done. I think I'm really hard on Ian, especially with his dad, because if he's got something to say, I want him to say it. I want him to have that conversation. And I think the only reason I do that is because I don't have the opportunity to do that. So whether I like his dad or not, it almost doesn't matter. What matters is to me, have the conversation with your dad while he's still here.
Right.
Always. Always ask the questions. Ask me anything you want, but you also need to ask him. There's a that's a I think not being able to ever speak to my dad and have that conversation about what happened and what he did makes it really difficult for me to like repair some of the things internally because I'm making up my own answers without having the proper ones from them.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't know if my dad was a good human being or not. I mean, I can tell you he's probably not a good human being just
Yeah.
because he didn't get involved in my life. But that's also somebody could have made a bad decision at a young age and didn't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it made me a better father because I wanted to be better than that.
Yeah, exactly. You had a place where you knew you didn't want to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that that does have a lot of value.
And, when I first started, it was probably extreme. I mean, it's still clunky, but it was definitely more clunky when when it first started. I think that I've learned a lot, right? And I think a lot of it goes back to having conversations with your kids. Some people might think that that's soft, like if Logan, I'm going back to the dishes.
Yeah.
If Logan fucks up the dishes, he needs to know that he fucked up the dishes, and
Yeah.
you don't need to have those soft conversations. And I think I don't 100% disagree with that, but I also don't think it's soft parenting to have a conversation with your kid, show him what your expectations are, and
I
then
think that's good parenting.
still hold him accountable.
Accountability is what they need.
Yeah,
Like kids truly need accountability, and they try to stray away from that. That's parenting in a nutshell.
right.
How do you make your kids accountable while also doing it in a way that's valuable, right? Doing it in a way that's not going to screw them up. Have the conversations and actually talk like you're talking to somebody else, and let them know if you're pissed off, why you're pissed off. Don't sugarcoat things. They'll appreciate it a lot more.
For sure. Mm,
Well, here, we kind of skipped over a few things. So there's a part that's going to be the hidden weight that dads carry. And I'm just going to read these off. All right. You know, dads fear that they have the fear of repeating the past. We don't ever want to be like our fathers or anything like that. We want to be the best version of us that we can. We have shame after losing our tempers, 100%. And there's no father that goes through and does something horrible or screams at his kids that just feels happy and giddy about it. I would hope so. Um,
some fucked up people out there.
there are. I mean, you got overworking and underconnecting. We think that we're going to make our kids' lives better if we just keep working and working and working and get more money or accumulate more and more things. Well, they need to accumulate you. Silence because emotional language feels unfamiliar. That's pretty true. You have dads that sometimes we just shut down because we don't know how to speak on what's actually going on within our minds to communicate it in a good way. You got anger that is really pressure, fear, or an exhaustion. And I think that's the big one. I think a lot of dads truly do carry that. I know I do. My anger is rarely based upon my circumstances and what's happening in front of me. It's always based upon all these things that just stack, 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 and eventually it topples over. And I think that's a very big one. And then wanting to lead but not knowing how. On the daily, do we go through a lot of these feelings and emotions? Your work day's long. There's screaming going on. You got to figure out, then you got to do all these other things. And your kids don't see that. All they see is, hey, dad, I love you. Let's play a game. And you're like, nope, can't do that. We see everything as it's got to get done, got to get done, got to get done. And they see things as, can we just sit down? Can we just play a game together? And I think we neglect that part of life sometimes.
I've also learned that being honest, like you can have bad days at work, right?
Yeah.
I used to have bad days at work, and then I would come home and have a bad day at home because I wasn't in the right mindset. And I didn't communicate that to anybody. I was just a fucking asshole. The last 10-ish days for me it's not all been work, but a lot of work. And then just some personal like struggles that have happened. And I've been fucking salty, and
Yeah.
I'm a believer in being open and honest with your kids and just kind of letting them know. And it's the same thing with Deanne. Like I told her last night that I didn't really want to go with her to do the Raina's prom,
Yeah.
but it was the right thing to do. And I told her, I'm like, I'll try to be in a good mood. And I had a good time. It was totally
Yeah.
fine. But it's my kids will be like, how was your day? And I'm glad that they asked that, because I can be like, my day really sucked, but I want to make sure that tonight is a little bit better. So it creates a little bit different interaction. They understand, and it avoids me from shutting down and not talking about it. So
Yeah.
sorry, that was kind of long. I
No,
wasn't
no.
trying to.
Do you ever notice that when you're 100% honest with your kids and what's going on and why you're frustrated, how their whole attitude and behavior changes? My daughter's my difficult child. But if I sit there and I break down all the things that I'm frustrated about, and then I say, I'm not even frustrated about the situation. I'm frustrated about the reaction that you're giving me. It opens up and it becomes so much easier for them to understand that, hey, we're not upset at them. Like it's, I don't know what it is. Like if I just tell, no, everything's fine. I'm good. Like leave me be. I'm good. What are they going to do? They're going to copy you.
Right.
If you're able to tell them about all the things you're frustrated about, they're going to listen and they're going to say, holy crap, dad's got a lot on his plate right now. And I would be overwhelmed as well. So
And then they'll be like, stop being a pussy.
exactly. And then you fucking punt them through the wall.
Well, to your point, I think when you have those conversations with your kids, especially once they get to a certain age where there's some maturity, it just gives them a better understanding that, like, wow, like, I had no idea. I was worried about this. I couldn't find my lunchbox, and dad's dealing with this, and this. So now I understand why he booted my lunchbox out
Yeah.
into the yard.
It's rarely surface level. Like
Right.
it's rarely the things that you see that are causing the agitation and frustration in fathers and kids, and I think in everyone as a whole. Everyone's got a hidden world that they're dealing with, and you have to learn how to communicate that clearly to your kids because there's nothing hidden for them.
Right.
You need to be there for them, and if you're having a hard time, you need to let them know why. That's not weakness. I think that's strength.
For sure. For sure. All right. You ready for the question?
I'm ready.
All right. If your life had a narrator, who would the narrator be? And what kind of movie would it be?
Mm. If my life had a narrator. Can't say that word too many times, and that fucking English doesn't even sound like a real language. I think who's the God? What the hell is his name? Fucking the black dude,
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yes, it would be Morgan Freeman, but it would my life would be like, God damn, dude. What's the one he plays God?
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. That would be my life.
Yeah.
100%. It would be that type.
All right. I'm going Gilbert Godfrey, and I would hope it would be a comedy.
Okay.
I got a funny story. This is
All right.
actually super fucking morbid, but every night before I go to bed, I found this new show on HBO that I like, and it's
What's it
called
called?
Murder Tapes.
Nice.
So it's all video footage of an actual murder and them catching the suspect. I don't know what
Oh,
it
of
is
like the
about.
actual murder?
No, it's a lot of police footage from body
Gotcha. You're
cams,
not watching
and
snuff films before bed.
no, no, no. So this murder, a lady's head gets removed and it ends up in a completely different state, and so they're going through the process. Well, they end up interviewing her sister-in-law who ended up finding her body, and she said that I checked to see if she had a pulse, and I checked on the neck. And for me, I was like, what the fuck? The chick don't have a head and you think that she's still alive. I could
God,
not stop laughing last night. Like it was right before I went to bed, and oh my God. And
that's
I
some
got,
dumb shit.
yeah, I was like, the minute that somebody doesn't have a head, I don't think you need to check for a pulse. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, imagine half their fucking body's missing, and then you're over here trying to tap their knee. No need to tap.
Well, and like that, she wasn't like extremely descriptive of like, I walked in and saw her body in the
Was she the one that
bathtub.
did it?
No, no.
She's just retarded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Because I was like, if her hand was hanging out of the bathtub and the curtain was
Yeah, yeah.
closed and she grabbed to see if her hand had a pulse, that to me would have been a little bit different. But she specifically said her neck. And I was like, she doesn't even have a fucking head.
That's profound. That is incredibly, I mean, maybe she was in shock, but that's pretty fucking low, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I thought the same thing. And like I said, I laughed probably for like 3 straight minutes uncontrollably.
The head
Deanne's like,
wasn't
"What's
on her
wrong with
body,
you?"
and it was found in a different state?
Yeah, they had found the head before they actually found the body. They didn't know who the head belonged to until the body was found by this.
How long was the body laying there?
It was only a couple days. Like, it sounded like it was a pretty quick, uh, turnaround. She was in a
So she
bathtub.
found it a couple days later.
Yep.
Headless. That's even worse. She's in a bathtub headless, and you're checking her fucking pulse on her neck?
Dude, it was her son that took her head off.
Oh,
He left
shit.
with the father, who had no idea he was sitting in the truck while he killed her and cut her head off, threw it in a bag, went to a hotel in another state that the dad had been staying at. He grabbed the head out of their truck and dropped it in another truck. And then the dude went to Walmart, and that's when he found the head in the truck. He didn't see it
Damn.
at the
He
hotel.
killed his mom.
Killed his mom. I fell asleep before the
Wow,
end
dude.
to find out like the reason why, like if they actually interviewed him, and he's
You're already all tucked in, you're like, "This is so good."
yeah, nice and cozy.
Damn, dude. That's hard.
Anyways, it's a
I
good
have
show.
been watching those too, by the way.
Murder tapes?
Yeah, yeah. Not that specific, but, like, on
Oh,
YouTube,
okay.
like, the pretty much those kinda crimes. Like, I watched one with this husband killed his wife. He literally, like, stabbed her, and he tried to make it seem like he didn't do it. He arrived at the scene, he was obviously all distraught. All the camera surveillance was cut, amazingly.
Yeah. Yep.
So the cops thought that somebody came in through the side door. Well, in reality, the husband killed her and then left to go to work, arrived at work, acted like nothing happened. He's got kids and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Like,
It's
dude,
crazy what
you're
people do.
like, how does that work? So,
All right. Well, we definitely sidetracked a little bit, but I had to share that story because it was kind of crazy.
that's a good story.
Like, follow, subscribe,
Like, follow, subscribe,
comment.
comment some questions, and comment if you guys want to see us do this live. Realistically, being able to do it live and have live questions that we answer, I think would be a very strong value add to a lot of the dads out there. We want to build a community. We want to build a place where you got a question, you got a resource of, hundreds of dads that are able to chime in, and everyone's going to be different. But searching through it, you're going to be able to find some benefits. So that's the goal. It's a Dad Compass podcast. We're fathering without a map, and we're trying to guide all types of fathers to a better tomorrow.
Well said. Compass on.
Compass on. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.